Hey folks, Nick here from Another Booktube channel. Today, celebrating 1 year on YouTube. Yeah, I started this channel a year ago. My first video went up on December 6th, 2022. And I'm honestly very surprised that I'm still going with it. Usually when I do stuff like this, I get kind of bored, lose interest after a few months. There were definitely times like that during the past year where I felt like I didn't really feel that drive to keep going, but I pushed through, and I'm a year in now, and I've really enjoyed this past year. I think it's been one of my favorite reading years ever, and I think BookTube has a lot to do with that. So I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about this past year, what having the channel has been like, some good things about it, some bad things about it. And just, yeah, maybe you'd find that interesting. Maybe if you're a booktuber yourself, or if you're thinking about creating a booktube channel, maybe this will, help you decide. So let's talk about my humble beginnings. Why did I make this channel in the first place? So I did not do this with any intention of becoming popular or becoming hugely successful or making a career out of this, which is good, because none of those things came true. So if I were trying to make this a career, after this past year, I would not be able to afford my rent. Because this is not something that I do for money. I don't intend to do it for money. I have a full-time job that pays my bills. This was something that I did for fun and for me. What I would do before this channel is I would read a lot of books, and I would have a lot of thoughts about them that I would want to just say, and I wouldn't really have the best outlet for it. Now, I'm watching this video right now with my partner, and she's looking over at me and she's saying, "Hey, I'm your outlet. You talk to me, I'll listen to you." Yes, you do, and I love you very much for doing that. But I want to give you a break once in a while. And, I want to be able to talk at length and ramble, and I don't want to have to put you through that every single day, or for every single book that I read, even though you end up watching these videos anyway, and it all evens out. But not only that, I wanted to have a place to really record these thoughts, because I have a really bad memory, and what would end up happening is I'd read a bunch of books, and then a couple months later, I would forget completely everything that I read about that book and that I thought about that book. I'd have trouble recalling basic things, just like plot points or character names. So I wanted a little repository where, for posterity's sake, I can go back and say, "Hey, what did I think about this book? Here's a video that I made about it. This is what I thought about that book." Great. So it just takes a little bit of a pressure off of me having to just store everything in the memory banks, because I've got YouTube. YouTube is my memory bank. And it's been really great, and it's been a lot of fun. Not only that, making videos like this helps me organize my thoughts and put things in a way that of course, this is the sentence I'm stumbling on when I'm saying my thoughts are so organized. But I'm able to just think about the books in a more critical way than I would if I were just, rambling to my partner. All right, so what's been some of my favorite parts of being a booktuber and being on this platform? Well, I would say the biggest thing is the community has been really chill. And I think it's particularly because I kind of hitched my wagon onto the Criminale fan base, because he was kind of the channel that really convinced me that maybe I can do this too. Anybody can do this, and he does such a great job with it. But he's clearly just a guy who loves books, and I'm like, hey, I'm a guy that loves books. Why can't I do that too? So I joined his Discord, and I ended up having a pretty good relationship with him virtually because of Garb August, his event that he created where we celebrate trashy literature. So talking with him and talking with the other creators that did that event, that hosted it, as well as just hanging out on his Discord and just talking books with people, getting people's different opinions from all over the world. It's been really, really cool. And it's always really awesome when, like, on my own videos, I get comments. I love getting engagement on my videos where people are sharing their opinions. Sometimes they'll push back and they'll say, like, oh, if they don't agree with me, it's awesome because I get to hear what other people took away from certain books. And when people are respectful, which for the most part they are, it's just a really good feeling and a fun experience. And that's definitely been my favorite part of this. And in general, my motivation to read has gone way up because of this channel. And it's because, like, I set a schedule for myself where I want to have 2 videos a week and then at least 1 comic book video every weekend. So that pushes me to make sure I'm continuing reading, make sure that I'm reading, the comics that accumulate in my to-read shelf every single week. It keeps me on track, keeps me motivated, but it has had one slight drawback. How has this channel changed my reading habits? So because I now always need to be able to generate content consistently, it's always in the back of my mind where I'm like, I need to make sure I'm reading a book that I'll be able to get a video out about that other people might find interesting. Even though, like, I started it with the intention of just being fun for me, there is still always that voice in the back of your head, like, give your subscribers, give your fans something to want to click on. And so I've noticed the average length of the books that I'm reading has gone down considerably this year. Before I started the channel, I was reading a lot of, like, longer fantasy books, and I was really taking my time with them. And I feel like I don't have that luxury anymore because I've got to keep it moving. Like, I've got to have new content, new stuff to be able to talk about. And while doing this channel, I've discovered so many great new genres that I've enjoyed, but I do feel like I want to get back to being able to enjoy those longer fantasy books. And so in 2024, I've kind of got some ideas in mind of what I want to do for what my reading goals are for that year that look very different than what I'm doing right now. But aside from that, my reading habits, like I said, I'm not reading as much fantasy anymore because I've discovered stuff like short crime or mysteries or men's adventure books. A lot of this came about because of Garb August, because for that, there were all these different prompts that had me reach out into genres and areas that I was not familiar with. And I found some stuff that I really enjoyed. I picked up a bunch of the 87th Precinct books by Ed McBain, and I really want to, read a lot more of that series. I've talked about it before. I bought 22 Buffy the Vampire Slayer novels, which definitely were not something that I thought that I would get when this year began, when this journey into BookTube began. So I've discovered a lot more, but because of the types of books that they are, I feel like shorter books are what I'm gravitating towards now. And I'm a little concerned about when I go back to a longer book, will I be able to be comfortable with it? Will I have the attention span for it? Or will I get frustrated that it's not over after 150 or 200 pages like these other books are? A little sneak preview for 2024, I plan on revisiting The Wheel of Time, which is 14 really long books. And I'm curious to see how my attention span deals with it, given my change in reading habits this past year. So what are some of my least favorite parts of being a booktuber? I was thinking of saying, like, what everyone usually thinks about, like, is like the negative comments. I do get some negative comments. And when I say negative, I don't just mean like people disagreeing with me. I mean people who are obviously being like condescending in their response or just plain rude. But I actually don't like super mind those because I just give it right back to them. Like, if you go and you find comments under my videos, if you find a mean comment, I just give it right back to them. Because if they're going to be mean to me, I don't keep up any pretense of like being the bigger man. No, I throw it right back in their face. I'm just as sarcastic back. Like, I don't care at all. I'm not. If you're not going to trust, if you're not going to take somebody's advice, don't take their criticism. That's what I believe. So I don't even know you. So if you say something mean to me, like, go fuck yourself. What I would say is there are definitely things that do make me feel disheartened sometimes, and that's primarily the when a video doesn't perform as much as I was hoping that it would. Not necessarily that I was expecting it to, because I try to keep expectations out of it, but sometimes I will make a video that I'm particularly proud of, that I put a little bit more effort into, and it just doesn't find its audience. And it can be really disheartening. Like, there's a video I made this year. It's the definitive Swamp Thing in 1982 review video, where I reviewed the 1982 movie, the novelization, and the comic book adaptation of Swamp Thing, the Swamp Thing 1982. And I thought that that video would appeal to my subscribers that enjoy my comic book content, to my subscribers that I gained in Garbaugust due to like the novelizations that I would read. And as of now, that video still has under 100 views, and I've got just about 700 subscribers, which is great. I'm super grateful for all of my subscribers, but a lot of my videos struggle to break even just 100 views, and that in itself can be a little disheartening. But whenever I start to feel myself starting to feel bad about that, I just remind myself that, again, I didn't do this to be successful. I didn't start this to become popular. I started this for fun. And as long as I had fun making the video, and as long as I have that video for posterity's sake that I can look at and enjoy it, then like that's enough. Like that's completely fine. But that's definitely like the only time I'll feel like, that's only the time where it's kind of sucks. And of course, you also have to like work through reading slumps. Like, if you want to maintain consistency on the channel, you have to be making content, and sometimes you're just not in the mood for it, and that can be frustrating. But honestly, that's just part of it. And I know that if I ever miss a self-imposed time slot, like, nobody really cares. It's all in my head. So to kind of wrap things up here, I'll address like what advice I would give to new booktubers or people who are thinking about starting a channel of their own. The big thing is, don't let the disappointments get you down. Because usually if you're looking to start a channel, it's because you've got an idea in your head. Like, you're like, oh, I've got this really fire idea for a video. I've got a lot of really great thoughts. Let me put it out there. And 99 times out of 100, those early videos that you make are not going to be seen. Like, they're not going to perform the way that you really expected them to. You're probably not gonna blow up overnight. It's happened. I've seen people who have like introductory videos that have like 12,000 views on it. I saw it the other day, and I was like, well, like, what did they do different? But for the most part, your early videos are gonna struggle, and you just need to get over that hump. What I was doing when I first started was I was like constantly refreshing my stats to like see, like, did I get another view? Did I get another view? And when you get into the minutia of like tracking individual views, you go nuts. So in the beginning, particularly, do not let the disappointments get you down. Don't expect success immediately. Don't do this for work. Don't quit your job to start a channel. Start a channel in your downtime. And if it takes off and it becomes successful enough where you can do it for work, do whatever you want. But there are so many booktube channels out there. There's a reason I'm called Another Booktube channel. It's because the market is flooded. The supply outweighs the demand. So just do it for fun. Do it because you have a small community of people that you're already friends with, and you want to just be able to contribute your thoughts to that discussion on YouTube. That's my big advice. Also, don't worry about the YouTube algorithm, because I can't figure it out to save my life. I was told, oh, make sure you post on a consistent schedule and your videos will get seen. And I've been posting consistently on the same schedule for a year now, and like a lot of my videos still flop. Oh, make sure you have a really great thumbnail. I'll make awesome thumbnails and I'll get no views. And then There are videos where I don't make a thumbnail at all, and those will be a hit. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the algorithm. I've tried tagging videos. I've tried not tagging videos. None of it makes any sense to me. So I can't give you any wisdom on that. But basically what it boils down to is just make content that is fun for you to make. As long as you're enjoying it, eventually your people will find you. And so I'll wrap up by saying thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel in this past year. I hope, more join us, but if not, I'm glad that you're here, and I hope you stick around. Keep commenting, keep liking, keep sharing, all that nonsense. Yeah, I'm looking forward to another year, another 2 years. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows what the future holds? But thank you all for spending some time with me this past year. But now it's time to get back to reading.